Hi, I'm Whitney Sullivan, and I'm here for RT Book Reviews with the fabulous Tessa. And her new book, A Night to Surrender, is coming out later this week. So we're having a little chat about what readers can expect from the Spindle Cove series. So Tessa, last summer you thrilled us all with the Stud Club, and they were back-to-back and so excellent. But for the Spindle Cove series, you're doing something very different. Can you tell us a little bit about the premise?
Well, the premise of the book is that there's this little seaside town called Spindle Cove. It's on the English coastline during the Napoleonic Wars. England's at war with France, at war with America. The coastline needs defense. Spindle Cove is a little town where good families send their daughters when they don't know what else to do with them. Right, they might be scandalous, they might be kind of bookish and shy, they might have been recovering from an illness, and they all get sent there to this little seaside town for the sea air. And our hero, Bram, is given a title and assigned to go raise a militia in this town full of nothing but girls, awkward girls. And he gets some opposition from the heroine of the book, Susanna Finch, who is the mentor, I would say, to all of them.
So is Susanna, is she a all put together Regency heroine, or is she similar to her girls?
She was that once. She's a little bit older, she's 25. So she's dealt with some setbacks in her life. Her mother died and she had a really sort of traumatic adolescence, I'd say. But she moved through it, and now she's confident. She is a gunsmith's daughter, so she knows all about the weaponry, and she's a self-taught apothecary. So, you know, I like to say she can take the man apart and then put him back together better. And so she's full of confidence, and she's not going to let anybody bowl her over. That's for sure.
And so give us a little bit more about Bram. He sounds like a hero to love.
Bram, he is the son of a gentleman, but he's an officer as well. And so he's just returned from several years on the continent fighting Napoleon, but he's had an injury to his leg, which should end his career, but he's not willing to let it be the end of him. So raising this little militia is his chance to get his command back. So it's important to him.
And I believe that Bram has not a detractor, but somebody who's making his life a little bit more difficult. His cousin Colin is around, right?
His cousin Colin is Colin's a pain, and his name is actually Lord Pain. He is Pain, and he's along for the ride unwillingly, and he happens to love girls, and he's in a town full of them. They're not his usual kind of girls, but you know, he's a guy who he'll make it work.
Now, A Night to Surrender is your 7th Regency set novel, right?
It is.
Has writing about the genre changed any for you since you began all those books ago?
You know, it has and it hasn't. It's for me, writing romance novels has always been about taking those old familiar stories and characters and just trying to put my own little spin on them, right? So it's more of that, and it's just finding new stories and putting a little spin. In fact, the entire idea for this Spindle Cove series came out of one line in Pride and Prejudice. That hasn't changed for me. It's always been all about Jane Austen. It's how I got started with Regency, right? So the militia comes to Meryton. I mean, that's what happens at the beginning of Pride and Prejudice and gets all the girls excited, that's right. So the militia comes to Meryton. I took that and I thought, there's a series there.
Now, is the Spindle Cove series going to be a trilogy, or are we thinking maybe there's more coming?
There are 3 books for sure that will be coming in the series. There may be little extra stories, or we'll see.
I know that's
3 books
pretty
for
far
sure.
down the road.
It's not quite a linked trilogy like my last series was, the Stud Club, where you knew there were 3 books, 3 heroes, 3 things that needed to be resolved. It's a little bit more of an ongoing community.
Which we love. I mean, as a reader, there's nothing I like better than knowing I can keep coming back to Spindle Cove or whatever town it is, and see familiar faces, but also fall in love again and again with new heroes. We're so excited for your next book, but we can't wait to read the one after that. Can you give us a little peek at what's to come next at Spindle Cove?
Well, the next Spindle Cove book will be A Week to Be Wicked. That'll be coming out in about 6 months, and it stars Colin in his own story Yes, he's still a pain, but he gets redeemed, and it's all about him and the unlikely heroine and the crazy road trip that get them to love.
Ooh, I can't wait. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Tessa.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.